On the world news, Israel jets continuous attack across Lebanon and floodwaters wrecked homes in Nepal's capital. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on the world news on Providence Television International. My name is Edna Caesar Garrick, and now the details. Israeli jets have continued attacking targets across Lebanon, including the capital Beirut, for a seventh day, with Lebanese officials saying the non-stop bombardment has left up to 1 million people in the streets as fears of an all-out war between Israel and Hezbollah grow. Lebanon caretaker Prime Minister Najib Mikati said on Sunday the intense Israeli attack has purposely caused the worst displacement crisis in the country's history. Earlier, the Israeli military said its fighter jet has struck Hezbollah targets, including rocket launchers and weapon storage facilities, and carried out dozens of air raids across Lebanon. At least 11 people were killed in an air raid on a house in the town of Ain in the Bekaa Valley in the northeast. Eyewitness say a civil defense center was hit in a small town just outside Tyre Governorate, killing 4 people and injuring several others. Overall, Lebanon Health Ministry says more than 1,000 Lebanese have been killed and 6,000 wounded. In the past 2 weeks, also on Sunday, the Israeli military announced the killing of senior Hezbollah official Nalib Kalkuk a day after the group confirmed the killing of its leader Hassan Nasrallah in an attack on Friday on a densely populated civilian area of southern Beirut. The killing of several top Hezbollah commanders in the recent weeks has dealt a huge blow to the group engaged in cross-border fighting with Israel since last October. The Iran-backed group has set a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip as a condition to stop the attack. It began in solidarity with Palestinians in the besieged and bombardment territory. While near a year of Israeli attack has killed more than 41,500 people, the killing of Nasrallah, who led Hezbollah for more than 30 years and built the Lebanese group into a powerful force, is one of the heaviest blows ever dealt by Israel to Hezbollah. Police say search and rescue team in Nepal's capital have been picking through wrecked homes as flood waters have started to recede. Officials reported on Monday that the death toll from the monsoon flood and landslide has risen to 193 around the Himalayan nation. At least 31 others were missing and many others injured. Entire neighborhood in Kathmandu were inundated after the heaviest rain in more than 2 decades, with the capital temporarily cut off from the rest of the country after landslide blocks highway. Deadly flood and landslide are common across South Asia during the monsoon season, lasting from June to September, but experts say climate change is making them worse. The International Center for Integrated Mountain Development, a Nepal-based think tank, said the disaster had been made worse by unplanned urban encroachment around the Bagmati River, which courses through the capital. Nepal's army said more than 4,000 people have been rescued using helicopters, motorboats, and rafts. Bulldozers were being used to clear nearly 2,000 sections to main highways leading to Kathmandu that had been blocked by debris. Nepal's Weather Bureau said perimetric data from stations in 14 districts measured record-breaking rain in the 24 hours to Saturday morning. The monsoon season brings 70 to 80% of South Asian annual rainfall and is vital for agriculture and food production in a region home to about 2 million people. But monsoon rains also bring widespread death and destruction in the flood and landslide. Experts say climate change has worsened their frequency and intensified. More than 300 people have died in Nepal in rain-related disaster this year. At least 43 people have been killed across the southeast U.S. since some Helene made landfall in Florida last night, including first responders in South Carolina and Georgia, who died trying to save others. Streets are underwater in parts of Georgia where the National Weather Service has issued flash flood warnings and warned more than 1 million people are at risk. At least 15 have died in the state. In Florida, cleanup operations are underway. One of the biggest storms to ever hit the Gulf Coast, Helene, has barreled across Georgia, Tennessee, and California after devastating Florida with fierce winds and flash flood. Originally a Category 4 hurricane, Helene has downgraded to a tropical storm on Friday and then a tropical depression. The death toll from Helene is mounting at alarming pace. Reports say at least 43 deaths have been attributed to Helene. The largest share of the deaths so far have been recorded in South Carolina, where at least 17 people have been killed. Another 15 people died in Georgia, a spokesperson for the governor said earlier. Florida has recorded at least 8 deaths, North Carolina 2 and Virginia 1. Data from power outage, which tracks and aggregates power outrages across the country, indicates that more than 3.9 million American homes and businesses in the path of Helene are currently without power. That includes more than 1.1 million customers in South Carolina, about 900,000 in both Georgia and North Carolina. No deaths have been recorded in Ohio, but more than 300,000 customers do not have electricity there. If you are just joining us, this is the World News on Providence Television International. Japan's incoming Prime Minister has said he will call snap election for October 27 after winning his governing party leadership. Ishiba, who was recently elected to lead the party, is due to be confirmed as Prime Minister by legislators in Parliament's lower house, which is controlled by an LDP coalition, on Tuesday. The election next month will decide on the makeup of the parliament. The LDP has had a nearly unbroken tenure governing Japan since World War II. Although not yet in office, Ishiba said he had announced the election date earlier for the logistical convenience of those who have to prepare on relatively short notice. On Monday, Ishiba began picking government and party officials to contest the election alongside him. So far, the cabinet includes 2 of the premier's rivals in the leadership race. Katsumbo Kato will be finance minister and Hayashi will remain chief cabinet secretary, a pivotal post that includes the role of top government spokesman. A close Ishiba ally, Takeshi Iwaya, a former defense chief, will take over as foreign minister, while General Nakatini will return to the Ministry of Defense, a position he held in 2016. Yogimuto, a former junior minister, will take charge of the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry. Not included in his, however, is Sanai Takaichi, the hard-line conservative that Ishiba beat by 215 votes to 194 on Friday in the closest leadership election in almost 7 decades. The arch nationalist would have been the first female prime minister in a country where men still dominate politics and business. Her absence from cabinet will make it difficult for Ishiba to manage a fractions ruling group rallied by Sandal, which have snapped public support and led to the removal of Fumio Kishida, who resigned as prime minister in August. Away from the foreign scene now, back home, the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Atiku Bagudu, has delegated President Bola Tinubu's economic reform and the removal of fuel subsidy. Bagudu noted that the removal of fuel subsidy is a crucial step for Nigeria economic development, stressing that prices for diesel and kerosene have already been deregulated while petrol remains relatively cheaper. The minister lauded the transition to compressed natural gas as a more affordable energy source, especially for transportation, and disclosed that President Bola Tinubu's administration is tackling the nation's challenges through the renewed hope agenda. The World Bank has approved 3 new loan requests totaling $1.57 billion in financing for Nigeria. The loan approval is to support the federal government in strengthening human capital through better health for women, children, and adolescents. The approval project would also help build resilience to the effect of climate change, such as floods and drought, improving dams and irrigation. The World Bank says this new financing includes $500 million for addressing governance issues that constrain the delivery of education and health, $570 million for primary health care provision strengthening program, and $500 million for sustainable power and irrigation for Nigerian projects. State commands of the Nigerian police have deployed men in flashpoints as organizers of the October 1st protest insist on going ahead with the demonstration on Independence Day as planned. Human rights advocate and leader of the protest, Omole Yeshowore, disclosed that the planned demonstration is a continuation of the End Bad Governance protest, which took place from August 1st to 10th, 2024. He added that the planned demonstration is necessitated by the failure of the federal government to address demands which include rising cost of living, insecurity, and electoral reform. Organizers of the planned protest also disclosed that the protest is to be held at the Eagle Square Federal Capital Territory, the same venue of the Independence Day parade. Operative of the Sokoto Zonal Directorate of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission have apprehended 13 suspected internet fraudsters in Sokoto State. The suspects were arrested on Saturday, September 2024 in the Gidam Yaro and Gandima areas of Sokoto following actionable intelligence on their alleged involvement in internet-related crimes. The agency further noted that the suspects will be charged to court after conclusion of ongoing investigation. With that, we've come to the end of the world news. But before we go, a recap. We brought you the story which says at least 43 people have been killed across the southeast U.S. since Storm Helene made landfall in Florida last night, including first respondents in South Carolina and Georgia who died trying to save others. We also told you that police say search and rescue team in Nepal's capital have been picking through wrecked homes and flood waters have started to recede. Officials reported on Monday that the death toll from the monsoon flood and landslide had risen to 193 around the Himalayan nation. Israel jets have continued attacking targets across Lebanon, including the capital Beirut, for a seventh day, with Lebanese officials saying the non-stop bombardment has left up to 1 million people in the street. As fears of an all-out war between Israel and Hezbollah grow, Lebanon's caretaker Prime Minister Najib Mikati said on Sunday the intense Israeli attack has possibly caused the worst displacement crisis in the country's history. That's our package. Thanks for watching. Edna Zagaric is my name. Good afternoon.